Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new video. In today's video, we have a major legal breaking update, and it's not looking good for Donald Trump. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts of the United States Supreme Court has, for the first time, lashed out and called Donald Trump out on his BS for attempting, or calling, I should say, for impeachment of judges, overstepping his constitutional authority, because under the United States Constitution, no president in U.S. history, not even Donald Trump, has the ability and the authority to impeach judges nor call for their impeachment. What all did Chief Justice John Roberts say in his rebuke against Donald Trump? Well, that's exactly what this video is about. Let's break that reasoning and the details down in today's video, in this reporting by CNN. The article is titled, Chief Justice Roberts rebukes Trump and GOP rhetoric after impeaching judges. Chief Justice John Roberts, the article reads, pushed back on President Donald Trump's escalating rhetoric against the federal judiciary on Tuesday in a highly unusual statement that appeared to be aimed at the president's call to impeach judges who rule against him. For more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision, Roberts said in a statement released by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court added, the normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. Roberts' statement did not mention Trump by name, but it came hours after the president stepped up his attacks on the federal judiciary by specifically calling for U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, who has temporarily blocked rightfully, legally, and constitutionally, and legally and lawfully, my editorial edition, the deportations of alleged gang members from Venezuela, my editorial edition, to be impeached illegally, my editorial edition. Several Trump allies, including Elon Musk, have been calling for weeks to impeach judges amid a slew of preliminary rulings against the Trump administration. Trump's rhetoric opposing the judiciary has been far more aggressive than during his first term, and the administration's approach has raised fears of a constitutional crisis. Republican members of Congress responding to the president have moved to impeach federal judges illegally, my editorial edition, who serve lifetime appointments. A Texas Republican representative, Gill, said on social media Tuesday that he introduced articles of impeachment against Boasberg. Quote, "The radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed," he said, by Barack Hussein Obama, "was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states," end quote, Trump posted on his Truth Social. Quote, "This judge, like many of the crooked judges, quote, I am forced to appear before, should be impeached." Let's get one thing straight, ladies and gentlemen. He has no power nor the authority to call for the impeachment of judges who are withholding constitutional boundaries and constitutional laws. He is overstepping his authority. Therefore, I'm calling on Chief Justice John Roberts to hold an emergency impeachment hearing against this racist douchebag, bigot, rapist, criminal, felon, wannabe dictator for screwing up the United States, pretty much, or not pretty much, because that is what he's trying to do. And I think most of you guys are brainwashed if you guys think that this guy's doing good for the country, because he's not, let's face it, because Donald Trump's a criminal. That's what criminals do. F you, Trump. F you. Continuing with the last paragraph to the article. Sorry, I thought it was the last paragraph. No, it's not. A White House spokesman did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Roberts has had an uneasy relationship with some political conservatives who have never forgiven him for upholding Obamacare in 2012, even though he has repeatedly sided with the conservatives on guns, abortion, religion, affirmation action, and other major culture war issues. Conservatives have a 6-3 advantage on the High Court, and Trump himself nominated 3 of the current justices. The court has frequently sided with him in major cases, most notably the decision last year to illegally grant, my editorials note, former presidents wide immunity from criminal prosecution for their official actions, but in a series of emergency orders since Trump's return to the White House, illegal return to the White House, my editorial edition, the Trump the court has primarily ruled against him rightfully, legally, and constitutionally and lawfully. At the same time, Trump appeared especially angry to Wu Rogers during his joint address to Congress earlier this month. Quote, "Thank you again. I won't forget it." Trump could be heard telling Roberts on the House floor. The president later claimed on social media that he was thanking Roberts for swearing him in at his inauguration. Gabe Roth, who's an executive director of the watchdog group Fix the Court, said that Roberts made, quote, "an important point" with his statement, but said, quote, "it's a little rich coming from the guy that, by giving Donald Trump near total immunity in a major decision last year, helped usher in the present era of lawlessness," end quote. Impeachment threats prompt reaction. The Chief Justice and the other members of the Supreme Court have largely remained silent as Trump and his allies have ramped up their attacks on the judiciary, amid a slew of preliminary rulings that haven't gone their way. Most of those cases are being appealed and will likely wind their way up to the 6-3 conservative Supreme Court in coming weeks. Though Roberts did not mention the case specifically, his statement came as lawyers for the administration and the American Civil Liberties Union are sparring before a judge in Washington, D.C. over the sudden removal of Venezuelan nationals. Quote, no quote. I keep doing that. I don't know why. Sorry about that, folks. The Justice Department's handling of the case has raised questions about whether the White House defied a court order to turn around any planes carrying Venezuelans immediately deported under the controversial Alien Enemies Act. Boasberg's order wasn't a final decision, but rather a temporary move designed to give the court a few days to consider the arguments in the case. The White House has framed the judge as attempting to usurp the power of the presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. The judges have a right to stand up and defend the Constitution per their sworn oaths to the Constitution when they were sworn in. Donald Trump is lying through his teeth, as per the usual, and he needs to shut his fat mouth. When Boasberg held a hearing on Monday seeking answers about what specific steps the administration had taken after his order, DOJ lawyers initially declined to respond because they said they were not authorized to do so, citing national security concerns. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they are so full of it and so uneducated. If a federal judge, especially a court judge, or take, for example, a Supreme Court justice, if they order somebody to testify, they legally, by law, have to. I don't know what the hell these guys are apparently not educated, nor do they have the necessary experience that is needed to work for the Justice Department. In a sworn declaration made public Tuesday, immigration officials said that the Venezuelan nationals removed after the judge's order were subject to removal orders under other laws, not the Alien Enemies Act. Yeah, but see, that is where, again, these guys are getting it wrong, but then they're not getting it wrong. If a judge orders something to be stopped temporarily, it has to be stopped. Therefore, these guys are defying a constitutional, legal, lawful, rightful judicial order. Therefore, Donald Trump needs to be impeached. There's no wars against the United States currently. However, there are, ladies and gentlemen, wars that the United States is involved in, but not necessarily towards the United States. Therefore, the Alien Enemies Act and the removal of these supposed illegal immigrants under the Alien Foreign Enemies Act, Alien Enemies Act of 1789 is illegal and unconstitutional, because that act is only supposed to be in place if there are wars going on, yet there are no wars against the United States going on, so hence makes it unconstitutional and illegal for him to enact this order wrongfully. Trump is attempting to invoke the 1798 law that allows the federal government to expedite deportations of citizens of a hostile nation in times of war or when an enemy attempts an invasion or predatory incursion into the United States. Opponents have noted the U.S. is not formally at war and has questioned whether the administration's definition of invasion meets the law's requirements. As, ladies and gentlemen, I just said, there is currently no active wars, but there are wars that the United States is involved in. But not necessarily is the United States at war. That's the question that courts, including the Supreme Court, will likely eventually be asked to sort out. Roberts' statement Tuesday was similar to a rebuke of the Chief Justice a rebuke the Chief Justice issued in 2018 when he responded to Trump's remarks by saying that, quote, "We do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges." I remember hearing about that, ladies and gentlemen. Hence, Donald Trump, yet again, in 2018, also, per usual, and like always, lied through his gosh darn teeth. Continuing with the article. At the time, a judge from the Northern District of California had issued a temporary order blocking the first Trump administration from barring migrants who cross into the U.S. illegally from seeking asylum. Quote, "It's just a disgrace when every case gets filed in the Ninth Circuit," end quote, Trump said as part of a lengthy criticism of the court. Quote, "That's not law. Every case in the Ninth Circuit we get beaten and then we end up having to go to the Supreme Court like the travel ban, and we won." I can legally, constitutional, rightfully, and legally rebuke that statement, Trump. Again, you lied right there. Do better, Trump. Do better. Or are you just gonna live the life of a pathological liar, criminal, felon, rapist, fascist like you are currently living? Continuing with the article. Every case where it is they file is practically, for all intents and purposes, they file it in what's called the Ninth Circuit. This was an Obama judge. I'll tell you what, it's not going to happen like this anymore, end quote. Quote, "We do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges," end quote, Roberts, who was nominated to the Supreme Court by President George W. Bush, said at the time, quote, "What we have is an extraordinary group of dedicated judges doing their level best to do equal right to those appearing before them. that independent judiciary is something we should all be thankful for, end quote. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like that's going to do it for today's legal breaking analysis video. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this legal breaking analysis video, please do make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. As well as comment your support. It's always very much appreciated. If you guys never want to make sure that you guys never miss a brand new legal breaking analysis video, please do consider hitting the bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button below. It does not cost anything whatsoever, and hitting the all icon instead of the personalized icon. The all icon is where you can be notified. And make sure you get notified of every single breaking analysis reporting that I post onto the channel. Another way you guys can be notified is if you follow me on my social medias that I will have linked down below, along with a very important vital news article link to this legal breaking reporting. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the channel goal of 130 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 130 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 130 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve after we reach and achieve the goal of 130 subscribers. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and tuning into this legal breaking reporting. Until my next reporting, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe and please stay positive, and I will talk to you guys then.